Hey everyone, you're back with Bravo playing Dyson Sphere Program, Episode 3. In this playthrough, we're going through and sorting out the oil processing that you can see I've started here. So I've gone through and unlocked quite a lot and done a lot of work to the area, and I'll just explain what I've done. So over the back here I have my refinery set up, oil refineries. This is how I like to set them up. With the faster belt upgrades you can increase the output and just add more on. So I've started here and I can just work right through. Oil can just be placed from oil nodes straight into here and it stockpiles, and as I need to use it up I'll increase how many refineries I have. I put the research at the end of my bus, and I'll work back along the bus once I show you this. So pretty simple, not very complicated. I like to change to interplanetary logistics as soon as I can, and I'll move the research away from the bus just so I can add more factories. So here's my bus line, and I'm extending out this way to the right because the equator is here. So I want to run solar panels in here when I can. So I have the electromagnetic turbines here, and then next to them will be the next one up, which is this one, the supermagnetic ring. And then I have all of them spread out through here, and I only go 2 high for now, and I can go up 3 high, but I'm not going to do that for now. So I've left myself plenty of space, and I've given it 80 spaces across the center. From here, sorry, I'll just go over. So from this wind turbine here, I've started automating my belts, my factories, my splitters, furnaces, sorters, and I can extend it out to the right. And this will encompass automating my vessels and my drones, as well as all of my structures that I will require. So from here I just work to the right, add in factories as I need them for the upgrades. So when I advance to blue sorters and blue belts, I'll just put another factory down, add in some more lines, and I'll start to automate those. And now I've left myself plenty of room here for that, because every time I play I never build it big enough and end up extending that way. Extending out towards the pole. I don't really want to do that, I just want to go more width because I can go around the entire planet. And then from this wind turbine it'll be factories again, extending out. So checking back along the bus, I left myself 13 spaces here, and you can just use a belt, run it across, and you can see next to click to build it says 13 in brackets. That means that's 13 spaces. So the reason I've gone 13 here, and these ones here are normally 9. Not 10, sorry, because it's 2 belts. So if it was a single belt such as over here where these prisms are, because it's a single belt in the middle, it's 9, but because these are 2 belts in the middle, it's 10 spaces. So this is how I run my belts for my magnetic, for your 2 belts for your magnetic runs. So I bring it around and over, and then onto 1 belt, and again only using 2 spaces, because I won't ever really need to carry more than 200 on me at any time. And then feeds along the bus. Now I've left this space here because I want to do the supermagnetic ring automation in here, because when I get to the next Mark 3 belts, they'll be using the magnetic rings, rather than building it down along my bus and bringing it back. Which a few things I will have to, like my CPUs, I'll have to bring them back, but hopefully I'll have interplanetary logistics and I can put the drones out the back here and bring that bus line in. So for this episode it'll be optimizing my oil setup over here, my refineries, chemical plants, sorry. So I've started doing plastics and I've started my sulfuric acid here, and it'll extend into one more and I can run them as long as I need. Now the next one along is probably going to be the organic crystal or graphene. Now I have a gas giant off-world that has fire ice. This one right here. It's an ice giant, sorry. And over here to the right you can see it says collectible fire ice and collectible hydrogen. Now I can turn the hydrogen straight into deuterium using the Fractionator, which I've unlocked right here. Fractionation. Okay. Now I have a nice little setup that I do for this, and I'll show that in the later episodes, but once I can turn hydrogen into deuterium, I normally do, because hydrogen fuel rods isn't that great. I'd rather just go straight to deuterium fuel rods, because you need deuterium fuel rods for your ships for the Dyson sphere. So I normally just convert hydrogen straight into deuterium as much as I can, because it can take quite a while. So I burn the excess fuel off the refined oil. I don't really stockpile that, I just sort of burn it, because as you can see over here, you make a lot more refined oil than you do hydrogen from these refineries. Okay, I need another oil line coming in. So yeah, I just wanted to start this episode off, show you where I'm at, and what I'm going to do is zip it forward here and have completed more of my oil setup as well as my automation. As you can see, I've got the one solar panel here. That was from unlocking solar panel in the tech tree right here, solar collection. Now I don't have any silicon on this planet, and you never really do when you start a world. It says 0 over here to the right, silicon or 0. But if I go out to these planets in my star system here, I got 16,000 over here to the right. You got 16,000, million, correct? Yeah, sorry, 16 million silicon ore. Now that's pretty good, but there's no titanium ore, and that's another one you're going to need at a similar time. So this planet out here, this ice field, okay, it has silicon and titanium ore. 19 million titanium ore. Only 3 million silicon, but I can do with that for now, and then move on to the other planet for more silicon. It's got iron, has hardly any copper, but I can just set those up to be refined and then put the ingots straight into circulation via the Interstellar Logistics Station. So the Interstellar Logistics Station goes between planets and stars, and the Interplanetary Logistics Station goes around the planet using the drones. So I need to start setting up the silicon world, because I need this microcrystalline component. So that needs 2 silicon ingot and 1 copper ingot. Oh, not ingot, sorry, but high purity silicon. Copper ingot. So I normally make these off-world, and I bring them in. I bring the component in themselves. I don't manufacture these here, only because it's easier just to build them off-world and then bring them in rather than, you know. I'll be bringing the ore back as well. Sorry, the high purity silicon back as well. I won't be bringing back the silicon ore because I'm not going to bother furnacing that here. I'm just going to furnace it off-world, turn into high purity silicon, bring that in, and bring back the microcrystalline components from off-world. Because when I get to processor, here you can see uses 2 microcrystalline component and 2 microchips. The circuit board is not microchip, sorry, and yeah, so I usually either build the CPUs off-world and bring them back because they need copper and iron, but normally I just bring the crystalline back and the silicon back, and then I build the CPUs here, or the processors, because I can build the circuit boards on this world quite easily. There's plenty of copper and iron. So yeah, let's zip it forward here, and when I come back I'll show you where I'm at in episode 3. I'll be right back. And here we are. As you can see, the bus has been completed into my Interstellar Logistics Stations here. All 5 and 5 resources. Now, I didn't leave a space at the bottom for my warpers when I start to make those, and that's because I'm going to put them into one station, which will probably be this one at the end. Okay, and then I will just belt those into the other logistics stations. And that's just so I can use up all the spaces available instead of having each space in each station for a warper. I'd rather just have one and then belt them to the others. But for this one over here, I'll leave a spot at the bottom here for the warper. I've gone through and upgraded all my belts and all my sorters to Mark 3s, and all my assemblers are now Mark 2s. Research station centers, I've just added more of them on there. I just want to optimize that, working through. Got the titanium and the silicon coming in here. I've automated my drones, logistics vessels, and my logistics towers, my stations. Got all the oil set up. Here I'm burning my refined oil, which I want to stop doing now. What I'm going to convert to is burning deuterium fuel rods. So as you can see on me, I have deuterium fuel rods in my fuel chamber. So it just stops me having to restock the mecha as often. I've upgraded from liquid storage tanks to a logistics station here, because then I can demand it from anywhere on this planet. And I probably will upgrade this to a interstellar logistics station so I can get oil from off-world, but I'd rather refine it, possibly refine it off-world and make it into its components and then just bring those in. That way I'm not setting up huge refineries on this planet. Up the back here I have my Deuterium fractionators. I've got 20 here, and up the back I have my Deuterium fuel rod assembly plant. So this is how I like to run it, and it's quite efficient. I've seen a lot of other movies where they run the main line through them all, but then by the time it loops around, you're not getting, it's consuming too many, so by the end it's not very efficient. This is the most efficient. So I build these little loops through the splitters, and then I set my splitters. So on the right, this port status is on the belt that's going through the fractionator. And then I have these inlets here with a sorter, and they just top it up every time they're consumed. And as you can see, it's working quite efficiently. And that's all going into this interstellar logistics station. So I'm supplying deuterium, demanding hydrogen. And then I have these other components, titanium alloy and supermagnetic ring, and they're on little belts here coming out of my station and into my assemblers. So I'm stocking only 4 spaces here, and that's so if I need to put them in my mecha, I have 4 spaces in my mecha, and that's why I've allowed 4 there. You can just pick them directly up. If you hold your right mouse button, you can choose how much you take. Okay, again I haven't maxed it out, because if I have hydrogen in my inventory, I can pick it up and put it in here. So if this is maxed right out, you can't put any excess resources on you in there. And that's why I always just leave it off the end. In the technology tree, I've unlocked quite a lot. So these are the upgrade windows. I'm just going through and doing all the upgrades I can. And then in my technology tree, I've pushed a fair way through. I want to get my information matrix set up. I just need to do the setup for particle broadband. Now I haven't set those up yet because I haven't set up for my carbon nanotubes. So I want to set up that first before I start doing information matrix. And I really want to optimize my main factory. So I wanted to just run my belts into my logistics stations like I have for this episode, and show you my fractionators and show you where we're at now. So in my next episode, that's going to be the plan. We'll be fixing up my research and setting up my nanotubes, and then doing my information matrices. Another one is to set up is these ones, my frame materials. So I want to set up a factory for that, and I want to optimize my titanium bar setup over here. So I'm considering actually moving this whole setup. So once I move my research over here, so I'll move this, I'm going to pull this all apart here, and I'm going to move it most likely over here, right here. And that'll give me plenty of room back over here to build more chemical plants and expand on all of this, because I have I have a basic setup here for my graphene, and right next to it I want to set up possibly for fire ice. Okay, and I want to do the fire ice because not only do I get graphene, I also get hydrogen. So from all my fractionators, I want to, obviously I've got a lot of hydrogen stockpiled here, and I do that every game. I stockpile it all from my oil refining, and then once I can set up a fractionator assembly plant, I usually just do this the whole way around the pole. So let me just go to construction, assembly mode will do, or just assemble. So as you can see, I've set up on this axis here, and I'd usually just keep running. I don't usually try and go change in between the axes. So I'd probably actually extend the fractionators out this way, out to the right, and go all the way around. I'll probably go another 30, and I'll start really burning that hydrogen into deuterium. Main reason for that is because I think it's components, it's the rockets. The silos here. See the vertical silo, you got your small carrier rocket. They use 4 deuterium per rocket. So to do the hot deuterium fuel cells, you need deuterium, and you can either get that from gas giants, which at a minimum rate the best way to do it is fractionate all your hydrogen into deuterium. So set up a little fractionator area as soon as you sort of can, and jump straight on that. And that is purely because you don't want to really make hydrogen fuel cells. You can. I've done it in another game and it worked okay, but they just don't. They're just not, you know, efficient. The best thing is deuterium fuel rods. And yeah, so I just stockpile all my hydrogen, turn it all into deuterium, and then make deuterium fuel rods, because you not only put those in the mecha, you can burn them in these mini fusion power plants, and you use them for your small carrier rockets. Okay, and I'm pretty certain deuterium's also used in your warpers. So down here, you got your graviton lens. Strange matter, is it? Yeah, there you go. So your strange matter uses 10 deuterium. So you might as well just burn all your hydrogen into deuterium and use your deuterium for these and for deuterium fuel rods. Okay, your structure matrix, sorry, no, not the structure. Energy matrix uses hydrogen and energetic graphite, I think it was, from memory. Energetic graphite. So make sure you got hydrogen there, which you always do, because you're coming in. So how I set up, I'll show you, so you always know you've got your hydrogen. When it comes out of its stockpile over here onto this main hydrogen belt that I've got coming across here, okay, I run this along my bus, and it goes through my research center first. So you can see here, it takes it from this belt into research, and it continues along the bus and into my Interstellar Logistics Station here. Okay, and then from here it's on supply. Yeah, and I do intend on changing this to remote demand when I set up on other planets, especially gas giants. It can take the hydrogen straight from the gas giant to here rather than on the belt if I'm running low, but at the moment I've got plenty. And then from there my drones take it out of the Interstellar Station and take it over to this one. Now again, I can just change this to remote demand, but I want to just leave it these Interstellar Stations over here part of my main bus, so these will demand it, and then that station over there will take it. But again, if you have heaps of hydrogen setups, then this one can demand it too, and then if you're running low, it'll pull from there, like from both stations, if that makes sense. So this is how I like to set up my game when I get to the logistics stations. It's you set up your station in a central area, then you run all your miners and your belts into the station and you set it to supply. I've got coal and stone here, and that's because they're nodes in the area. So one there, one here. So I'll probably have another station over this way, and that'll just be picking up all these oil nodes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 oil nodes here, and they're nearly at 3 per second, so that's a lot of oil that I could have going into my refineries. So I've only expanded to one planet so far, and I really want to push for information matrix so I can expand to the other stars and start getting rarer resources. And also looking at optimizing these factories here. So just jump over to my other planet and show you there really quickly. If you click V and then zoom out into your star system here, and if you keep zooming you go into your galaxy. So you can see my vessels flying between the planet. We'll just click on the planet, you click this arrow down in the bottom left corner of the circle, and that's your indicator. It'll set a course for you. So when you jump up in the sky and hold spacebar to go into space, and then you hold your W down in your left shift and it'll speed up. And the W, wherever the mouse cursor is pointing, W will set the course there. So I'll just point towards the planet. Okay. Now I can move the look around and it won't change my course. Okay, holding shift will speed you up, so I'm at 1700 meters a second, which means I'll be there in 58 seconds. Now the Deuterium fuel rods help you recharge the mecha a lot quicker during spaceflight. And also the technology tree here in your upgrades. So up here you got your mecha core. Then you have this one down here, energy circuit. This helps you recover your energy quicker. So just make sure you're angled at the planet, otherwise if you miss it you just keep flying out into space. This game really is beautiful. And if you don't have a beefy computer, slow down before you hit the planet, otherwise it will lock up. Sometimes it'll lock up for a couple seconds. I just crash straight into it and then I'll fly out where I need to. So I look at my little map down there on the bottom left and I know that my stations and assemblers are this way, just so you don't start flying in the wrong direction. So as soon as I land on a planet earlier on, before I have fuel rods, I'll set up a little, it has coal, I'll start burning it into energetic graphite. That's so I have a fuel source when I come to this planet, because recharging when you get here is quite difficult, and if you run out of power before you have that up and running, it's a struggle. So I go ahead and put the solar panels down around the entire planet, and that way when you have a look at your power generation, I can make 88 megawatts, and that's constant. Even with a strength, it's a low strength, so it's only, oh, 0 here, sorry, but here it's, okay, well it's 70%, and you can find that out by clicking M. And over here on the right, okay, it shows you the resources on the planet, and then it says wind energy ratio is 70% and solar energy ratio is only 56%. So it's not great, but also I'm not doing much on this planet. I'm not setting up a huge factory. So it's plenty enough power, and I don't have to worry about bringing in a fuel source or burning energetic graphite and running out of that. At least this solar and wind is a constant renewable resource. So I'm doing my copper, my silicon, and my iron here, and then I'm making circuit boards, and then they all go into my solar panels. So I can just pick these up, fly to another planet, and then set up a full ring of solar panels on that planet. So then what I'll do is zoom back out, let's go to Zubin El Ganubi 1, which is the closest planet to my star in this system. Now I want to go there because I want to set up a processor factory. That's going to be my main world for processors. Now it's because it's got a lot of silicon, it's got iron, it's got copper, so I can set up a factory there. And in Interstellar Logistics, set up a supply to the solar system of the processors. So if you want to know how you get your mouse cursor out, because obviously in space when you look around it's just this, click tab, just press tab, and you get your mouse, and you can look around without moving your mecha or your press tab again, hide your mouse cursor, and then you move your actual point. So you can see my vessels flying between planets there. And you can see, if you go to another star system, you can actually see your vessels warping through space from system to system. Yeah, it's quite detailed, and it's just really nice to see in this game. Especially when you have a lot of vessels, it just looks like a constant stream of ships between star systems. So coming down here, I instantly just go to find the equator. Okay, so it's this way. That'd be it right there. Okay, so click map. There's your blue pole there, red pole there, and I'm roughly in the middle of it. Then when I go into building structure, you can see this green line here is a lot thicker than all these others. There's one here, all these axes. This thick green line is the center. This is the equator. So I'll just start. I get a few up and running like this. Okay, once I've got all them, I click Control C. Copy all of them. Now, you could go like this next to it, but if you're off, you're gonna have to destroy all of them. So I go off the previous one, because if you go like that, say it won't let you do it, so you right click, go over the top, it'll let you do it, and that's perfectly in line. Then I can just go around the whole planet and do that. Then I can copy all of that and just keep going. Okay, you'll get to a point where it won't let you build because it'll go over the top of the other solar panels. So here, if you click it, won't let you do it, but click Shift Enter and it'll let you build the ones that it can do. But there will be a gap. So see this gap here? This gap, you can't help that. That's because the planet, that's just how it's outlaid. So then I usually just fly around the planet, put all them down. As you can see, we're at 135% intensity, making close to 500 kilowatt. So the solar panels I have now, I'm already at nearly 40 megawatt of power, which is a lot, not a lot, sorry, it's enough for a starter factory. And if I go going around the whole planet, I'll have a constant stream of energy, day or night. I'm already at 50 megawatt, so this is constant renewable energy. So as soon as you have one whole ring of solar panels around the equator, you don't have to worry about power on this planet, even with a medium-sized factory for processors. Or if you're doing, if you set up a world for electromagnetic turbines or supermagnetic rings, just 2 or 3 rows of solar panels, and by the 2 or 3 rows I mean building another row right next to it, either side, 2 or 3 rows. Like, I'm at 88 megawatt now. I've got one run and half of it's in the sun, in the shade of the planet. So I'm walking pretty quick, keeping up with my drones. You can either fly or walk, depends on the speed that you have unlocked for your drones. The geothermal power station, if you have a lava planet, normally your closest planet to your sun is a lava world. The geothermal power plants are handy as well. 2.4 megawatt per station, where a solar panel is, well, depends on the solar intensity as well. So now that's set up, they've set up a constant ring of energy around the whole planet, so no matter where I build, I can connect to this grid around the entire planet. So I'm making 90 megawatt. And that'll be just about constant. So if I have another ring, it'll be at 180 megawatt, another ring after that, 270 megawatt. So then what I do from there is I find where majority of the resources are, which is this side. Okay, so I'll probably want to build right here, because there's no resources that are going to be in my way of my factory. So pretty much where I'm standing, which is good. Then I just go ahead, set up a station, roughly where I think it's best to start my factory. And then I will set up the planetary logistics stations on close to my ore nodes, picking up all of those. And once you get to your next level of miners, so down here you have photon spotlight mining technology. These guys here, advanced mining machines, they are actually droned, so you don't have to build planetary logistics stations and then supply all that. You can just build those miners and they supply the resource they're mining via the drone. So you can just have one of these at your main factory on demand. It'll collect them from the resource, from the planet's resource, the mining stations, and then it'll output that straight into your furnace ring or your assemblers. And I'll show you that in a later episode, but for now I just want to end the episode here. Okay, and in episode 4 I'll go over setting up this planet and run through all that and continue optimizing my main factory. So thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.